Bernstein Unfiltered. Unfiltered on 312 Sports.
It is a busy DBU we have scheduled for you on this Monday here on 312 Sports. I'm Dan Bernstein. That is our executive producer, Matt Abaticola. The Bears are 6-3. The Bears are 6-3. What that means, we will discuss. I can tell you how I feel about it, looking at the schedule and where they are, and we are going to also discuss some college football stuff. I happened to turn on the TV at a really opportune time on Saturday, especially as a Heisman voter. We have some goings on in MLB that are unsavory, to say the least, and a lot of what's happening in sports, while probably inevitable, is also raising more questions. Watched a lot of Bulls basketball over the weekend. I'll be watching more tonight at the United Center with Victor Wembanyama in town. The Bulls also 6-3, and we'll figure out what that means. I have something I wrote down that I'm calling the quote of the weekend, apropos of nothing, and you can tell me what you think of it. I had to go back and make sure I heard it correctly, and I did. I'm also really looking forward to something that I saw promised on social media over the weekend, and that is the Matt Abaticola official review of Beer Church, Brewery, and Pizza School. You made your trip. You had multiple meals there. I can't wait to hear all about it because the pictures were enough to have me salivating.
Yeah, just wanted to tease you a little bit with the photos. I haven't shared anything with you at all. No thoughts.
Nope.
Saving it for the official review. And I know that I know you're anticipating it. Did you end up eating pie last night because of it?
I did end up having pizza. I didn't order just because I knew there was snow coming and I didn't want to mess with delivery. So I went out and I got a frozen Uno's that I then sort of
you doctor a little bit.
Yeah, what was her name? The blonde woman on Food Network, semi-homemade that
yes.
Sandra Lee?
Lee?
Yeah, and I drizzled it with good olive oil. I put a little bit of basil on there. I put a little oregano on there, some extra Romano cheese. Let it sit, let it rest out of the oven, and it was delightful. And I polished it off. I polished it off with 4 Hostess cupcakes too.
Yeah, I saw you mentioned the cupcakes. I love it. The old and you're like, I think they're smaller now.
They are.
I think maybe you're just bigger. Maybe your mouth is bigger.
Nope.
You think
and I bet my life on it.
So that's a one bite cupcake now.
Yeah, they're way smaller. I rescued a box from the back of Mariano's for $2.40 or whatever it was. So I had 8 of these, and I ate 4 of them, and they're one bite.
Okay.
I remember getting the big 2-pack of Hostess cupcakes and having like a handful.
Yeah, well, you're also a child too at the time.
No, I was in high school or college.
Okay.
Not significantly smaller.
Okay. I saw an old video of semi-homemade the other day, actually. It's funny that you brought her up, and she was making coffee. And so she had a pot of coffee that probably had 4 cups of coffee in it. And to that, she added 1 cup of vanilla rum, 1 cup of some kind of vanilla vodka, and then like 1 cup of Irish cream. She's like, this is the way I like to start my day with my coffee. I'm like, well, it's also the way you like to end your day, too.
The last 10 minutes of the show, she's on the couch with sweatpants on, flipping channel, eating leftovers. Well, I mentioned yesterday, and I'm going to stick with this. It doesn't matter how good I think the Bears are right now. It doesn't really matter how good you think the Bears are right now. What matters is at the moment, and it's cool, the Bears think they're good. And I think that kind of matters. I'm not sure to what extent, but I like to think that all of that excitement in the postgame locker room, all of the good, better, best, and everything, all the Ben Johnson intense screaming and everything that we hear matters to them. I think it's really neat that CJ Gardner-Johnson seems to feel like he found a home. I think he leads all NFL defensive backs in sacks in 2 games. He leads the entire league's defensive backs with 3 sacks now. And I think you brought it up yesterday on Forward Progress that he makes a real argument for being Defensive Player of the Week in the NFC.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt, especially with the forced fumble, the sacks, and everything else that he's doing. But the Bears cannot continue to play these exciting football games against good teams. They have to play more consistent in every phase of the game if they're going to play better within the division and against the Eagles. The best record, I believe, of any team they've beaten is the Cowboys at 3-5-1.
Yeah, that sounds about correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's the best team they've beaten. So
yeah, and again, that's not any kind of indictment against the team. The schedule's the schedule, and you can't, you're not picking your own schedule, and you're not, creating the idea, the whole season of who you want to play, who you get to play, where you get to play them. You play who's on the schedule, and like we've said this a number of times so far this season, a win is a win is a win, and it doesn't look different on the win-loss record. A win to a good team is just still worth 1. While a loss to a bad team is still worth 1. So, it's all the same. It's all the same. And it's still fascinating to me that you cannot have any critical thoughts of this team or of Caleb Williams. It's just, it's really fascinating. I love that they're 6-3. I could not be more excited. I'm still a little angry about that Vikings loss and the collapse in the fourth quarter, and I'll eventually let it go once they beat the Vikings this weekend, and they will. But it's just it's amazing that it's a really enjoyable season to see some growth from Caleb Williams and to still have high expectations for him. That's the way it should be.
I look at it this way.
We can still be critical of Caleb Williams and love everything he's doing.
We don't need to waste time defending our
I'm
right
not defending
to,
anything. It's just fascinating to me how dumb people are. What I would suggest is maybe drink less or eat less while watching Bears games. That's all.
It's the nature of what we do. I'm at peace with that, knowing that it's usually a good sign if there are a lot of people saying you hate the Bears, because discourse, immediate sports discourse has gotten dumber, and that's okay. We can still fight.
We know that you hate Luol Deng and
South Sudanese basketball.
Sudanese basketball. That's correct. The Bears, you've never claimed to hate the Bears, so it's fine.
Certainly not. And I'll say this: as much as I love Caleb Williams' escapability, I would like to see less of it. He's amazing at teleporting while under duress in the pocket and wiggling his way out of trouble. I would like to see him do it less often. I don't need that superpower engaged all the time. I don't need escapability activate. I would like to see him.
It's great to have it.
Yes, but you not at every play.
It's great to have it when it breaks down. And there, so Dan, I went back through this morning and I watched every Bears offensive play, specifically to watch his passes. Like the run game, I wasn't concerned with really rewatching, but watching his passing. And we'll get into it in greater detail in Forward Progress. But there was one particular play, and it was the throw to Rome that gets off of Rome's hands. And we discussed it last night in the post-game show, and we kind of made it like a 60-40 kind of a split as far as what should have happened. I've reversed a little bit on that, rewatching it and watching it a few times over. And I will say that Caleb's talked about, Ben Johnson's talked about Caleb's inaccuracy on the run. That was easily the best throw that he's made while on the run, particularly moving to his right. It was easily one of 2 best throws. The one that Rome
Vikings
caught, that bullet to the Vikings
the opener
game, that was number 1. This
drive of the opener.
2.
Yep.
Yeah, this was number 2. It was an unbelievably great throw from Caleb Williams.
And we've gotten all kinds of answers regarding how drops are calculated and or awarded, assigned, I should say. Apparently in the NFL that it's not necessarily done, because I got a note from an NFL statistician that says we do not input drops for the NFL during games. This is from an actual NFL stat crew member who also does this for college games, who says there is a dropped pass command in the NCAA software, but the NCAA doesn't track it cumulatively. That it is not input during NFL games. So whether it was 6, 7, 8 drops is going to remain the purview of next gen, PFF, the teams themselves. It's the most that I've seen. It's certainly the most that I can remember in a given Bears game.
Yeah, and again, we'll get into it in greater detail on Forward Progress. And from my count, rewatching this morning, there was 6 drops in the game yesterday. 6 drops, and then again, we'll look at it. And there was some off-target throws, some clearly bad throws by Caleb as well. But in those bad throws, in the drops, the Bears cost themselves two touchdowns. Period. But 6 drops from going back and watching this morning.
These are fun times. These are heady times to be a fan of the Bears. And what's cool is this idea of every game now measuring them more because of the uncertainty over their actual quality. And that's across the entire league right now, that we're all kind of floating in the blob. As critics, we are too. Because when it's our job to assess how good are the Bears, it's very difficult to find solid ground. And I admit that. So it does make it fun. It makes every game feel like it matters a little bit more when we start getting into this idea of, well, this team beat this team and who was healthy for this game. So what I'm defaulting to is just to enjoy it. As of right now, you are what your record says you are, and you are also what your opponent's record may say you are in the quality of those wins, because they haven't beaten a good team yet.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, this the schedule that they have, and as it sits right now, the playoffs start today. You have 3 teams from the NFC North in the playoffs, the Bears being one of them, with obviously the Packers at top of the division right now playing the Eagles tonight, Lions in the 6th seed, and the Bears in the 7th seed.
So keep in mind that we will have full, deep Bears coverage in today's Forward Progress, and make sure that you are a part of that. So I had the rare lazy Saturday now that fishing season has wound down, and now that we've got 6 inches of snow and still falling on the ground for now, that I flip on the television after sleeping in late and wandering around scratching myself. And it is just in time to see what is going on in the Indiana-Penn State game. And when Fernando Mendoza threw that interception, and I thought, well, here it is. This is when you get tagged. This was coming. It was a matter of time. You had, there's 100,000 people in that building who feel now that James Franklin is gone, and a new day has dawned, that there is a reason to believe, even though their team isn't all that good. And I don't know anything about the interim coach. So he throws the pick, and the first thought in the back of my head was, well, that your Heisman Trophy guy, who you're trying to find a narrative, and that was spit in the bit. That's just not how it looks. And I'll be damned if Mendoza didn't just start firing away down the field, undeterred by that initial sack, culminating in, inarguably, one of the most spectacular catches you could possibly dream of seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Gus Johnson passed out.
Well, I want to get to that in a second. Okay. But because that's its own topic in a way, because it brings up something I've long said about where the Gus Johnson thing is right now.
Okay. All right.
But that catch by Omar Cooper Jr., when a catch looks better the slower you see it, first of all, outstanding job by the back judge. Absolutely tremendous job by the back judge. Being right there, you saw where his eyes went, that was an officiating clinic. And it reminded me of Antonio Brown of the Steelers, the end zone catch in the Super Bowl against the Cardinals.
Yep.
Where he had one foot on top of the other foot, and there was a whole controversy as to whether or not the other foot actually touched, et cetera. Did it count because he was touching his other foot? That was it was almost too perfect because his entire body seemed to freeze in midair. It was Matrix style. And then as he reached back, almost going against physics, while his body was being carried out of bounds underneath the goalpost, he somehow reached back and established. And when I get to see 100,000 Penn State fans have the happiness sucked out of them as if by dementors, that makes me feel good. I like that. It warmed the cockles of my heart. And there's nothing like hot cockles, as I have long said. So thanks to Fernando Mendoza and to Omar Cooper Jr., because he certainly reestablished himself in my eyes as a more than viable Heisman vote candidate. And that's probably
I'm looking forward to tomorrow. The committee releases their second playoff bracket as we're getting closer and closer to what's actually going to take place. And there are a couple teams that currently sit in the top 10 in rankings, which should not be in the top 10, first of all. And it's got nothing to do with Vanderbilt. It's just, the
all roads lead back to Vanderbilt for you.
Well,
Would
no,
you
because
stop?
I saw the smile on your face, and that's not why it is. I don't think Vanderbilt should be in the top 12 right now either. And there's two teams in the top 10 right now that should not be in the top 10. And I look forward to seeing what they actually release in their second version of the bracket tomorrow, and be able to discuss that as well.
All right, so when I do come in one of my Tulane hoodies this week, it also should be noted that win at Memphis did propel Tulane back into the realm of possibility. They don't have the highest odds of being the group of 5 winner, but they're definitely back in it. So keep an eye, roll wave, keep an eye on the green wave at this point, as John Sumrall is busy sorting through offers from massive programs to make a gazillion dollars wherever he inevitably goes. And he is
That's a good number.
Make no mistake, he is going somewhere for a lot of money. You brought up Gus Johnson.
Yeah.
You got to leave yourself somewhere to go emotionally. You have to. When every positive play that happens for anybody is the end of the world, it doesn't give you anywhere to go when it deserves it. And it's a classic example of the boy who cried wolf parable, of the idea of if you're always at 10, and you don't have Nigel Tufnell's special amplifier that goes to 11, that play deserved it. That play deserved even the most stoic broadcaster's most emotional call. And he couldn't get there. He broke because he maxed out he shorted out. His circuit breaker blew.
Yeah.
Because when you treat mundane things as deserving of over-the-top treatment, it's fun and some people like it. It's sort of, Eric Collins does it with the Carolina Panthers and with the Hornets, and some people like that stuff. But after a while, it's fun as if you're watching it from a different market and you're just out of town saying, oh, look at this crazy dude. But if you're the main guy on a national game, I know it's his bit, it's his brand, but that was the rare case where you see the limitations of being that guy.
So it doesn't add to the actual moment itself because there have been 10 of those earlier in the game.
Or what he can do is just lay out.
Oh, and just step away and let the play do itself.
Just zag instead of zig, and just underplay at some point. But it's one thing if he were one of these young broadcasters out of Syracuse trying to find his voice. He's 60. This is not somebody who's figuring out his limits and figuring out where the sort of the gain level is. He's 60. So it's kind of what he does, and he's gotten plenty of attention for it. And if it's your cup of tea, that's fine. That I'm not yucking your yum. I'm just telling you that for my preferences and for what I was taught, it was always, and I had to learn it as a play-by-play guy. And I had people when I first started say, "Hey, I love your energy level, but you got to leave yourself somewhere to go when the games start to matter more." I was at the same emotional level when a team is down 15 in the fourth quarter in a regular season game, and I had people tell me, "Hey, if once you get into the playoffs, it's gonna get even more intense. You've got to know how to budget your energy and budget your intensity." And it was great advice.
Yeah, maybe he could go back and watch the Commanders game and take some advice from Donald J. I mean, he did a really good job as a new Fox analyst still. I mean, it was really good call. I mean, really. So if you're a young broadcaster out there, I would suggest going back and checking out the Commanders game. If you missed it, I'm sure you can find it online. If you want to know just exactly what to do, how to do it, how to sound, it's good stuff. I wish I'd heard that, 10, 15 years ago. That would be.
I just love the crowd's response. That was very nicely done. I thought that was well handled.
Number one in their hearts.
Yes, there was a lot of expression of a feeling of number one, no doubt. With all of this weather swirling around us right now, you should be reminded that your windows probably need replacing. And I'm reminded of that every so often. I was when Russ Armstrong and Chicago Window Guys first came out and took care of our main room on the first floor and some of the windows around it. And I noted since then that the room held its temperature better when I would set it on the thermostat. And then I had Russ out again recently, and he is in the process of making more windows, this time the upstairs. So that's the bedrooms, and that's going to be a much warmer place this winter. You should think the same thing. And just call Russ and have him out. You don't have to do the entire house at once. Just know where you spend most of your time, and that can make an enormous difference just swapping out a few windows for the good stuff. And that's what Russ has, because he makes these windows, custom makes these low emissivity, double paned, double hung with the special polymer spacers that they never rust out. They maintain their flexibility. I believe me, I've had a crash course in windows. I know more about windows than I ever thought I would, because Russ is a great Windows teacher, and he can explain to you what's a good deal, what's a bad deal, and then he gives you the best deal with his price match guarantee. 847-302-9171. He's got 5-star reviews at ChicagoWindowGuys.com. There's no subcontracted labor here. These aren't randos in and around your house. It's Russ's crew that's going to install your windows. And as you're getting quotes, there's nothing wrong with getting quotes, but ask those other sales reps who's installing the windows. And if they answer honestly, they're going to say they don't know, because they're using subcontracted labor and Russ is not. There is a guarantee that Russ will give you, a lifetime guarantee on parts and labor. So if your kid is playing catch out front and breaks the glass, Russ will replace it absolutely free.
Replace your
Nobody
kid?
else. Yeah, he'll replace your kid, get a kid with better aim and a better arm. So he promises he will do that as well.
It's a nice touch, Russ. I like it.
Yeah.
Here, give me your kid. Let's go. Come on, kid.
That's good business. Swap that kid out.
Meet me on Russ. How you doing? How are you?
847-302-9171, and check out his 5-star reviews at
Russ,
ChicagoWindowGuys.com. The issue with professional sports gambling has now stretched well beyond the college football, and yes, I count that as pro sports, and the NBA. It is now in MLB. We thought that there was something fishy going on when MLB suspended Emmanuel Clase, Luis Ortiz, and now the other shoe has dropped. The two have been charged with fraud, conspiracy, and bribery. stemming from this alleged scheme, rigging pitches, the velocity, the location, and they have been indicted by federal prosecutors in the Eastern District of New York, the U.S. Attorney's Office based in Brooklyn. And this was we thought this was coming. And I guess my takeaway on this, now that we've read all the details about how little money was actually made and how overtly they were texting about it even during games, this is the low-hanging fruit. It's easy to get stupid people. And it seems that the ham-handed gamblers and fraudsters are being picked up easily by the fail-safes that are built into the system, by the books themselves, and or by however they need to start flipping people who are involved. What I'm wondering is how many more sophisticated, more intelligent operations are going on that they haven't gotten yet. There was the incredibly stupid college baseball scandal where the actual texts on the phone were visible to cameras in the casino. And if they're getting these text and emojis that are sent during games because of a spiked pitch that was then fouled off, and they're sending sad emojis that their scam didn't work. This is the easy stuff. This is the first part of this. And I'm just wondering how the leagues, the sports books, and law enforcement can get out ahead with transparency to limit this as it gets more sophisticated. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that there are more operations out there. It just, I think it really depends, Dan, on how much they want to find them. Like, there's what's the genesis of searching after this type of gambling scheme?
Well, the leagues have to.
But if the leagues don't care,
they do. The leagues have to care, and I'm not saying the leagues have to staff up because they don't have subpoena power.
No.
They don't have any actual investigative wherewithal other than just kind of asking questions here. But the leagues have to care deeply about this. So what they can do is immediate and irretrievable ban for life. This has to be automatic, no reinstatement. Guys like Clase, Ortiz, Terry Rozier, anybody involved, it has to be, as far as NBA, NFL, MLB, all the major, whatever governing bodies exist, FIFA, I know tennis has dealt with this. This has to be, once past a certain threshold of proof, absolutely 100% rock solid, banned forever.
But isn't that the standard anyway? I mean, if you're impacting outcomes of games and deliberately doing, isn't that pretty much a given? I
don't know what the reinstatement possibilities are. I believe any commissioner withholds the right to wave a magic wand. But I think short of somebody being completely framed, short of anything that is pure 100% exoneration, that has to be the standard. There has to be, I know people talk about zero tolerance, and there are multiple levels of potential reinstatement and ability to atone. And I'm certainly a believer in people being able to change, but this has to be a hard standard, that there is one and done when it comes to proof of actually affecting outcomes of games for gamblers.
Yeah, and I would think a commissioner has the opportunity, like you said, to wave the magic wand and everything's good to go. But I would assume the standard is, if you're doing things to impact the outcome of games, you're automatically done. And I still don't think that would prevent people from participating in these gambling scandals, because people love it, and that rush that people get and that addiction that people have to it is greater than the actual consequences they could face.
It must be, because it's hard to make sense of somebody that makes the money that Emmanuel Clase does, who's in his current guaranteed deal is $20 million. still coming his way. And these were, each pitch was 4,000, 5,000.
Yeah.
And this was over 3 years that, and even down to the evidence that they have of how he wanted the money sent to his friends and places in the Dominican Republic. What we will never know is if someone is doing this because they're being extorted. That if there are pictures of someone's grandmother in their home country tied up with a gun to her head, there are potential horrors involved here that we'll never understand, because this isn't all U.S. law enforcement that we're talking about. And so I don't know.
That's a good scenario to bring up and point out, because that is a situation that could happen obviously outside the United States. You just don't know how that individual's family could be impacted by not following through, and who knows what's behind the actual extortion. You could have some real deadly groups, really dangerous groups that are making this happen. So that's something to take in consideration. But I would think automatically, if you're doing anything to impact the outcome of games, it's a lifetime ban. And I still believe, take out those really extreme situations like that, there are people that will still risk it, because that's the rush they get from the addiction.
There is that, and it's also greed. That if we just want to keep it really mundane, that that it's never enough money. No matter how much you make, it's never enough money, and it seems easy. And there are a lot of charismatic, influential people that can make a case. They call it, the word con comes from confidence, and there are a lot of people very good at instilling that kind of confidence. So this isn't the end of it. This is going to be an evolution of sort of enforcement and detection, trying to outstrip those trying to get over on it. And it's a matter of just where we are. We're still in the early stages of it, but usually more transparency is for everyone's benefit. But I think that there's a caveat emptor when it comes to engaging in some of these things, but it is critical for the leagues to establish their prioritization of everything being on the up and up, or they're in danger of losing a lot of belief and a lot of attention.
All right, Dan. Well, I switched up my breakfast routine again, and it's all because of my Huel products. Now, I'm actually eating breakfast now, which I wasn't a few weeks ago. But now I'm doing it, and that's a smart thing to do. But along with something small and light in the morning before I head out the door, I'm drinking one of my Huel Daily Greens. And I know that you loved it too when I shared with you how good it tastes, right? Now, I had apple this morning, it's my favorite one, but they're all so good. Now, the Huel Daily Greens were developed by registered nutritionists and dietitians with 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods. They have 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, only 1 gram of sugar. Now, I love adding daily greens to my new breakfast routine, and Dan can vouch for it. They do taste delicious. So now I take my ready-to-drink meal for lunch. So I was doing that for breakfast. Now I have that for lunch, usually on the train heading back from the city. The flavors are awesome, and I'm still loving the chocolate peanut butter. It's kind of chasing away from all the rest of the flavors. I love it so much, but they're all so good. With 35 grams of protein, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, no artificial sweeteners. They are gluten-free. The Huel ready-to-drink meals are an awesome way to add to your workouts as well, either pre or post. And big news for you, Huel has launched into all Target stores nationwide, so you can go in there and pick some up if you want. But today, you can do something even easier and better. Get Huel for 15% off with our exclusive offer for new customers only with the code DBU at Huel.com/DBU. Go to HUEL.com. Use our code DBU for 15% off. Again, that's Huel.com/DBU.
I can't wait to go to the Bulls game tonight. And my goal is during warmups, I'm going to get there very, very early. And I like
shoot some threes.
I like to stand on the floor and watch guys warm up. I learn a lot in warmups. I really do. It's a great time to see players you haven't seen, especially rookies. I love to see players' routines. I like to, when you can learn a lot from a player based on the shots on which they're working, especially if they're working with an assistant coach. It's a really good time to get there early when you can see end of the bench guys, you can see prospects, developmental players getting in their work, and it's always a clue as to what they're going to be expected to do or be when you see the paces that their assigned assistants are putting them through. And I also get a sense of what guys' real heights and weights are. So I want to really get some eyes on Victor Wembanyama tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can recall this, if you would even remember in your lifetime of covering sports, the tallest guy that you've interviewed or stood next to, talked to. Who's the tallest?
At the moment, it is Chuck Nevitt, who he was sitting next to me in my car, in my 1988 Acura Integra.
He was inside your car with you?
He was he's one of two people 7'4" or taller who has been in the front seat of my car while I've been driving.
Fit?
He didn't.
Okay.
But Chuck Nevitt, who was a former Bull, he went to NC State. He played, I think, 2 games for the Bulls and was the starting center for the Raleigh Bullfrogs, and just a sweetheart of a guy, just a terrific guy. Not the most skilled player in the world, but it's at 7'5".
Okay, so you've been with 7'5"
yeah,
guys.
And Ralph Sampson, who was our assistant coach with the Rockford Lightning, who was I had to drive him around to various places. He would fold himself into my car as well. So I've had 7'5" and 7'4" in that tiny little coupe.
All right, you and Chuck Nevitt, what was the destination of that drive? Because I'm guessing there's something at the end of it that was cold and tasty.
No, it was it was to or from an airport. It was, believe me, it was, or we were going to a radio station or a TV station as play-by-play guy and PR director. I was also the limo driver when it came to getting people places. But Chuck's own car was a giant, like Ford Econoline van with like the running boards.
Okay,
and it was the only thing he could fit into. And even that, he had to duck his head to get in there because they didn't custom make, like Wilt Chamberlain had the custom made, I think it was a Corvette, where they moved his seat to the back seat, and he actually drove from the back seat. But Wemby is also 7'5", but I want to see here's the difference. Wemby's a guard,
which is insane.
He's a guard. That's the difference, and I'm looking forward to seeing if the Bulls follow what some Spurs opponents have been doing, which is just sending everybody at him and just treating him like what the Lilliputians did in Gulliver's Travels. I picture them like putting strings and cords across him and holding him down because it's hard to do. They're trying to make him more of a point guard. They're trying to sort of run people around the maypole and let him be a facilitator rather than an attacker. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Bulls do. Now, in the last 2 games against both Milwaukee and Cleveland, in which the Bulls held leads and were ultimately undone, a couple things got exposed that I just think big picture with the Bulls. We're going to get into this tomorrow afternoon in fine detail on organizations win championships, and can't wait to do that. And I'll have all those observations from tonight on there. But the Bulls need 2 things if they want to be better right now. They need rim protection, and they need shot creation. Kobe White, when he comes back, will obviously help with shot creation. I think he'll fit really nicely with Josh Giddey, but they have no rim protection at all. The perimeter defense is really good. They're doing a nice job on ball screens. They're doing a decent job helping out, even on some of the drop defenses that they're playing. Poor Vooch is trying to move his feet, but he's still getting exposed. They just need help on the baselines and close to the basket because when it mattered, nobody could stop Giannis. And there were some moments in the game where Cleveland was getting kickouts based on some stuff that when they were able to get it in and then out with both Mobley and Jared Allen. So we'll see. I don't know if the Bulls are going to move for anything like that this year. Getting Zach Collins back is obviously going to help, but they need somebody to help deter some of the baseline stuff and close to the basket.
And what is Collins is what 2-3 weeks away?
Yeah, from the reevaluation, I believe is a week away from reevaluation.
Okay,
and then we'll see. It's obviously going to take what is interesting about the way the Bulls play, that the concept of game shape, of having somebody ready to play, is harder now for them because of the pace at which they play. The expectation, the minimum level of cardiovascular ability is much higher now in the last 2 seasons because of their pace, that it's going to get somebody's legs, to get their wind, to get them where they have to be. It takes a lot more work. That's a steeper slope because of where they expect you to have to be, as hard as they're playing and as fast as they're playing.
Yeah.
Now, got to note this. Josh Giddey became a meme over the weekend. I don't know if you saw the play.
I did. Yeah. My kids made sure I saw it over and over and over again.
My man, that when you, and everybody made the same joke, we all did, to actually have your ankles broken.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hunter put him to the floor. If you haven't seen the play, DeAndre Hunter faked Josh Giddey into an ankle sprain. There was no contact. He didn't stick his foot out. He didn't step on somebody's foot. Just in his effort to try to stay with a ball handler, Josh Giddey sprained his own ankle. It was that bad, and everybody knew it. But Thomas Bryant, the dancing around, and I get it when they showed the replay, that is if you're sitting at home or you're on your phone after the game and you want to do the whole woohoo, broke his ankles, make fun of him, what goes around comes around. And basketball karma has a way of finding you. You don't make fun of another professional player about one of your union brothers. You don't do that during a game. You're Thomas Bryant. You're a towel waver. Go to the end of the bench, keep your sweats on, wave your towel, do your little dance. But I just thought that was Bush League. I thought the making fun. Yeah, it was nasty. He got clowned, no doubt. Dude got clowned, but know who you are. And I just thought that was a bad look for Thomas Bryant. I thought in the moment that, pick your spots a little bit better for what you're celebrating and when you're celebrating it. Before we get to your review of Beer Church, and I cede the floor to you, can I give you the quote of the weekend?
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what this is.
Okay. Now, I rewound this because it would be really stupid if I got this wrong.
Okay.
And I wrote it down like, wait a second. I got to make sure I heard this correctly. And I did. And it was last night on Sunday Night Football. It was our guy, Chris Collinsworth, was watching and critiquing a TJ Watt pass rush. And all of the attention paid to TJ Watt to make sure he couldn't disrupt. And there was blocking help on him. And he said the following. I'm not going to do too much. I'm not going to Collinsworth it up here, but he said, he's the most chipped human being on earth when it comes to football.
Dan, I heard him say that, and
okay.
it stopped me in the broadcast. I was like,
okay,
what?
It was fine. Everything was fine until that the clause after the comma. He's the most chipped human being on earth when it comes to football. Yeah. So then I thought, well, that got me to thinking. Who ranks above him in being chipped outside of football?
Outside of football.
And what constitutes being chipped outside of football? And all I could think of, I thought of several things. I thought of being given snack chips of some kind, potato chips, sun chips, corn chips, and maybe you could constitute being chipped. Hey, chip me. chip me. Send me that big bowl of chips.
Okay.
I'm very chipped.
That's a good thought. Yep, I like it.
Okay, the other one I thought of was maybe you're at a casino and you're raking in a big pot of chips at the poker table, or maybe the croupier is sweeping over your chips in a table game and you're the most chipped. Or maybe you're just cashing in a lot of cash, or
you're just you're losing a lot, and you're just getting
and you have
chips
to
after chips
yes,
after chips.
and you're the most chipped. And then I went to the third one, and that is Steve Buscemi's character in Fargo, where he was actually placed headfirst into a wood chipper.
Ooh,
I guess that's your accomplice over there in the wood chipper, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
he would definitely be the most chipped person.
So
then.
the
Yes.
most
Good
and
call.
the most chipped outside of would be who, and I forgot. I believe the guy Peter Stormare played Geir Grimsrud, and I don't have. Would you do me a favor and quickly look up the cast of Fargo and let me know the name of Steve Buscemi's character? Yeah. Because I'm fairly sure the person wood chipping him was Geir Grimsrud. Pancake's house. Unguent. Need unguent. One of the great movies ever made. But if anybody out being chipped, anybody being the most chipped human being on earth outside of football goes to that man.
All right, Steve Buscemi's character was Carl Showalter.
Carl Showalter. That would be the answer to Chris Collinsworth's open-ended point. If TJ Watt is the most chipped human being on earth when it comes to football, I nominate the fictional human being on earth, Carl Showalter, as being the one outside of football who is the most chipped.
Yeah, that's really good, and I love your thought there on it. But I'm so glad that you brought that up because I heard it and it stopped me, and I'm like, "What? What the hell did he just say? What is he talking about? Like, outside of football?" So then I immediately thought of like a really, and I went back to my visit almost a year ago now to New York City.
Yes,
and walking down a really busy New York sidewalk.
Oh, so you get you like little shoulders?
Yeah, and like you know, and it's not deliberate and malicious, but it happens a lot as you're.
You know
walking.
what? High school hallway, yeah,
and that's
you
like
you're trying to get to class.
Yeah, so that's what I thought of, and I'm like, all right, maybe he's just used to being bumped in the sidewalks, walking through all these cities he goes to. I don't know, but the most chipped human
on earth outside of football.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry,
that's so funny that you brought that up. That's so good
because
I heard it, and I was like, what?
And sometimes I hear things and I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I have to, did I hear that correctly? Because
that's
sometimes
funny.
my brain is weird and my brain processes things oddly.
Oh, that's really good. I love that you're thinking, what does it mean? And like potato chips and then casino chips and the wood chipper guy.
He had to have something in his head. Maybe he and his family have a different way of talking about chips. I don't know. In England, a chip is a French fry. Maybe gets a lot of French
fries.
I don't know. But that is my completely meaningless, ridiculous observation of the day.
Very good. Very funny. I love it. All right. So here's what we did this weekend. We took a little weekend getaway, rented a place in New Buffalo. Just Natalie and I. We took the dogs with us too. Got to take them on some long walks, which is really fun because Frank loves his walk.
Love it.
He did. Oh, he loved it, and he loves the colder weather. And Friday it was like a nice day, like a nice late, or early autumn day in October. It was really nice weather. Saturday was all right. You're getting into November, and it's getting a little chilly. And Frank loved going for the walk. And then Sunday morning we wake up to snow, driving out of Michigan. So we woke up and it was winter time. He loved the walks. Izzy, who doesn't like being outside of her normal comfort zone, gets very anxious. So she the entire walk was like just looking everywhere. I was waiting for her to stop and light up a cigarette. I mean, she was just so not herself. But the food. Okay, so the whole point of going was to go see John at Beer Church.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never eaten there before. So we go Friday, and there's a table for us right by the kitchen in the main area, and I'm staring right at the pizza oven the entire time. So John comes, he sits down with us, and we meet him and we're talking, and this is a delightful, lovely man. And he said, "Oh, I hope you don't mind. I have some appetizers coming out for you, and some pizzas." I'm like, okay, sounds good. So we started with the meatballs. We had the sausage, the house-made sausage stuffed banana peppers.
Unbelievable.
Had a Caesar salad.
Also unbelievable.
Communion bread with the buffalo mozzarella. Then we had the...
And I want the record to show that when he says, he doesn't mean like buffalo sauce, actual mozzarella di bufalo.
Yeah.
Actual bison milk.
From
Yes.
Italy.
Yes.
And then we had two pizzas. We had the pistachio cream with the house-made fennel sausage, and we had the margarita pizza.
That's my favorite.
Okay. First of all, there's four things I want to. First of all, everything was fantastic. Okay, I mean it was just absolutely fantastic. But there are a few things I want to highlight from that meal. Number one, the house-made sausage is unbelievable, and I love, like, if I do homemade sausage, I do a lot of fennel, because I love a really heavy fennel forward sausage, and this hits the note every single time. And it's nice and it's juicy on the inside, the crumbles, but there's also the little crispy bits on the outside. So they do it right. They do it really right. Those sausage stuffed banana peppers with the San Marzano.
Yeah, it's the quality of the tomato sauce that makes it
out of this world.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. And you know how much I love my Caesar salads. My favorite Caesar salad I've ever had.
Really?
Yes. Okay. So they make all their own bread in-house, obviously, with the pizza, with the dough, but all the bread on the menu is made in-house as well. They do like a garlic bread that they turn into a crumble, which is, it's not croutons, but it's more of like a pulverized bread, like in a food processor that they sprinkle all over the top. And it adds such a wonderful element to the salad. The house-made Caesar dressing is awesome. Whenever I
they
make
don't
Caesar,
skimp on the anchovy,
they don't.
critical.
And that's what you have to have. But when I make a Caesar at home, I do a lot of cheese. Like, I probably put more cheese on top than most people would want, because you can't have enough. And theirs is just loaded with cheese, and it's dressed properly,
and it's shaved too. It's
really
not
thinly
it's
shaved.
not grated.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, dude, it's so good. Okay, let me get to the pizzas. The pistachio cream, excellent, with the sausage, and the mozzarella is just it's authentic. It's real. Like it's so good. The flavor of it. The crust is unbelievable. Okay?
You got to look at it when you see the blistering and how hot that oven is to get the bubbles in the dough to come out and blacken over on the edges. Oh,
so I was able to see my margarita go in because I was sitting that close to it, and I knew we put the order in. I saw the order go back, and then I see them stretching the dough and they're topping it, and I watched it go in, and it was about 2 minutes and 20 seconds in the oven. Okay.
Yep.
And people say, "Oh, but there's other places." Well, yeah, this oven though is packed the entire time. That dude working the oven was a magician. Okay, moving things around and the rotation of where things went to get certain spots in the oven before he pulled them out. So the margarita comes out, Dan, and I told you this the other day. Less than 3 months ago, we were in Italy. We were in Naples. One of the oldest pizzerias in the country of Naples is where we ate. Okay, and
which makes it one of the originals in the world.
Yes, in the world. And the master Pizziola came out there and did a demonstration for us with the dough and the San Marzano and the mozzarella and the fresh basil. So I still have that as a very vivid memory of eating that pizza in Naples, which changed me and changed pizza for me from that day. I'm going to say this, and I mean this with all honesty. The margarita pizza that I had at Beer Church Brewery the Naples Pizza, 1A. The Beer Church Pizzeria, 1B.
Wow.
And I think the difference was, and Natalie said this too, and she agrees with me, 1A, 1B, that we were sitting in Naples looking out of a window in a pizzeria that's one of the oldest in the country, looking out onto Naples, okay? And the other difference is I'm in New Buffalo, Michigan. I think that's the only reason why there's that slight, because I was in Italy, like you're in Italy eating Naples.
You're breathing
pizza.
that air. Yes.
And I'm telling you, Dan, it's 1A and 1B. And I'm not just saying that because of John or because of the podcast. If you have had real Neapolitan pizza, this is the real deal. Okay.
See,
and
I made my own.
The basil's not from a package. It's from a garden. The mozzarella, the San Marzano tomatoes. It's not. You don't need to dress like if you have real, authentic San Marzano tomatoes, you don't need to dress them up. Nope. You don't need to do anything. You want the taste of the tomatoes, and the crust is awesome. So we had planned on going back on Saturday to try brunch items, and these are like eggs and breakfast and do everything. Mm-hmm. I didn't. Now Natalie did. I didn't. So I go back the next day. I had a margarita and a Caesar salad because I couldn't go there and not get the margarita again. And Dan, and it was even better on Saturday
for brunch. Yeah, that's something that if it's done right, you can kind of eat it for every meal.
It's funny. I said that to her. I said I could eat this pizza every meal. Like I could eat pizza every day to begin with. We are planning another trip to take the boys so we can go to Beer Church and have the pizza again. I cannot wait to get back there because it was a 2-hour drive to have that kind of pizza again. That margarita pizza was absolutely out of this world. So we had Kevin Fishbane on a few weeks ago on a Forward Progress episode. When he and his family are up in New Buffalo, they get pizza from Beer because he loves it. I'm telling you, it's easily the best pizza I've had here in the States. Okay, with your recommendation of Norm's out in Brooklyn as the second best I've ever had. As far as
Norm's in Brooklyn or Lower Manhattan. There's one down by
Lower
Wall Street,
Manhattan. That's where we were.
Yeah,
you're right.
My favorite New York slice is Norm's without question.
It's very different pizzas, obviously. But this margarita pizza at Beer Church, I cannot wait to go back and have it.
There you have it.
And I will eat it multiple times. Every time I go to New Buffalo now, I will eat there multiple times just to have the margarita and the Caesar.
BeerChurchBrewing.com. We thank them so much for the food and the friendship. And that's going to do it for this Monday edition of Dan Bernstein Unfiltered. Don't forget Forward Progress, where we're going to dive into everything regarding your 6-3 Chicago Bears.
Dan Bernstein Unfiltered on 312 Sports.